Hello and happy people. I hope you guys are having just an absolutely amazingly awesome day today. The best in your life. So today I'm doing my review of the Flirt by Clark Ashton Smith. I was about to say by Jonathan Ashton Smith, and that sort of a thing. It was published in 22nd of December in 21 rather. In written short story collections and that sort of thing. It's very, very short. I'll probably read it in about 10 minutes. And that sort of, it didn't even take me 10 minutes for me to read it. I read it on my way to church. And that sort of a thing. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get this thing started for you folks. So basically what's happening in the short story, The Flirt, is that our protagonist has arrived at a beach, and there is a beautiful woman coming out of the water, and so forth, with a very sort of innocent, virginal look about her, and that sort of a thing. And then our person goes over to her, and he thinks she seems familiar to him, and that sort of a thing. She thinks that her dress. Her hair is like a Greek goddess or a queen, and that sort of a thing. So he asks her if they had known each other, had he been a poet to her beauty in another world, in another life. And she says, "No, you were a fawn that trampled on me as a flower in a previous life." They start to have, and so he apologizes with a kiss. He leaves, and then stuff happens. I'll leave it to your imagination what happens, and that sort of a thing. But there you are. It's very, very fast. It didn't take me that long time for me to read out. Now, Clark Ashton Smith, as a reminder, was a renowned author during his era, the pulp-era, when he was writing most of his stuff. And he was actually published as an author, as a poet primarily, first of all, in his early era. I think it's in his teens. And that sort of thing. He was considered by many to be one of the last great American authors. He lived and grew up in the Bay Area. And so he definitely was heavily published in their local stuff, magazines, newspapers, and that sort of stuff too. So you can check it out. And then you can also do that stuff too. I like it. It's good stuff. Love him lots for those things. And then you can also, he also was somebody who wrote heavy science fiction, fantasy, and horror. All three genres of which we cover on our channel, and that sort of a thing. He wrote lots of fantasy stuff that heavily influenced our modern era, like Castle Amber, or a short story, The Seven Guesses, and that sort of a thing, which heavily influenced early Dungeons and Dragons too. So he's heavily influential in today's stuff, particularly with fantasy. Also, though, with his stuff, he also wrote some horror too, and some sci-fi too, that we've gone back and been reading for our stats. I'll link you to this short story in the comments below. It tries to have a quick little, it tries to have a Clark Ashton Smith ending, but I just don't think it works. And that sort of, I think you can tell it from the title too, what's happening. And that sort of thing. So I'm giving it just a 6 out of 10 for you folks. He wrote at the same time as Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard, but he's not as remembered as much, although he should be, because of Robert E. Howard, who wrote Conan and pulp-era, Sword and Sorcery, and then Cthulhu Mythos put Lovecraft on the map. He kept them on the map in a major way, and that sort of thing. And then he put cosmic horror on the map too. He sort of codified it. It existed, but he sort of codified it, made it, came up with all the sort of rules, kind of like Sherlock Holmes from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle from Scotland. Right, he put. He wasn't the person who created, right, the investigational genres and storytelling and that sort of a thing, but he definitely sort of codified it. Makes sense? He was the one who put all the rules there and mastered it. Clark Ashton Smith didn't master anything. He just was a good writer, but he was a solid writer. He wrote tons of stuff. So if you like, check it out. All right, so that is The Flirt. Again, I'll link it to you in the comments below. But there you are. I'm not going to tell you what the spoiler is, but I just don't think that it worked as a trick ending, right? Until adults come. Alrighty, and so there you go. Alrighty, but there you are. So what are your thoughts about this short story? Just let me know what your thoughts are. As a reminder, I'm not a trained critic. I didn't go to college for English or literary criticism or anything like that. I was a poli-sci major, right? It was my passion, and so I actually taught it at colleges and stuff too. So I am not engaged. So, right, your opinion is going to be just as valid as mine is. I'm just a fan, right? Alright, so there you go. I do 3 reviews a week of older videos like this, and the short stories that I mentioned it covers earlier, and that sort of thing. So if those are your kind of thing, check it out. I also do video games on Wednesday of older video game reviews, and I do Serial Saturday that I dedicate to the forgotten serial telling genre, so we might have forgotten about, oftentimes from this era. There's some published in 1921 at the same time as this, right? And stuff like that. I think have been forgotten. I also do older on Mondays, older reviews of older RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons or Middle-earth role-playing, or just stuff like war games like Battle.net and that sort of thing too. So if that's your pot of tea, definitely welcome to the channel, right? Have a seat. I think you'll enjoy your time here a whole lot. Take your shoes off too. All right, so there you are. Alrighty, and then while you're here, why not do the YouTube stuff, right? Hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell icon to be notified of my some videos, and like and share. But like, watch, and share. Those are the key ways of growing the channel. Alright, and so there you go. As you can tell from the title's name, it's also, and all these older things, it's the passion of this channel. It's a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old ones, right? It's definitely something we might have forgotten. Our passion for the new novel, the new video game, the new movie, right? We've sometimes forgotten how great some of these things are, that right from the older era, that these things, new things are created on the shoulders of giants, right? Not that they're bad, they're not. But let's go check out these things that heavily influence them, right? That's definitely Clark Ashton Smith. All right. So there you go. I want to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and investigating it and watching my videos, because we all have so many things, right, that are happening in our lives, right? And we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling. And I appreciate it so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.